I have been thinking about how I want to do this video for at least 3 days. And I've actually been pondering it even longer than that. And this is about what am I going to do after my last show. Okay, so some of you are thinking, big deal, it's your last show. Now you don't have to worry about what you eat. You don't have to go, you're not required to go to the gym. You don't have to do cardio. But therein lies the problem. This is going to be the last time I'm ever going to have, in theory, a shredded body and look like the king of the gym. When all the guys come up to you and go, damn, you look good. That's one thing I like about a prep. But is all the suffering worth it? No, it's not. But man, I could not live with myself with a dad bod. I'm sorry if I offend anybody out there, but I am a personal trainer and a nutritionist. So my body is my business card. And to me, nothing looks worse than a doughy looking personal trainer or a doughy looking nutritionist. If you can't control your own body, how can I help you with yours? And maybe 12 years ago, I had let myself go. I hated myself. I absolutely hated myself. And so I can't do that. So I have to be on a regime, and also I have to work out. I have no choice because I suffer from clinical depression, and without hard, vigorous workouts, that keeps my depression at bay. I have to have it. That is the way it's going to be pretty much for the rest of my life. I have to work out as hard as I can to avoid depression. So here lies another underlying problem. I am very goal-oriented. I'm not going to say I'm almost, in a way, borderline OCD. And without goals, I get lost, and it causes me a great deal of anxiety. So I'm going to have a plan of some sort. Right now, the only thing I know for sure is I've got no choice. I'm going to have to do my 150 minutes of cardio every week. Yeah. Now I have a question for any of you out there who have spent years competing at a professional level in any sport. Who am I without being identifying as a bodybuilder? When I was 13, that's what I wanted to be. That's what I am now. Yes, I am a trainer and a nutritionist, but I am a professional bodybuilder, and I am always trying to win money to do this. How do I go from a life to non-competing? That scares me. I know probably a lot of you think, man, you're nuts. You got bigger problems than that. Yeah, I got a lot of problems, but this psychologically is a wall for me. It has been a part of my identity for over 10 years. It's part of something that I've always wanted to be since I was 13. I've heard stories of other professional athletes, and these are high-level athletes, elite athletes, but they feel very lost after their careers are over and they sink into the throes of depression and malaise. I need to avoid that because I cannot afford to sink into depression, and I do not want to sink into depression. It's a whole rebranding of me. And man, I don't know how to do that. I've talked to one or two other competitors who've retired, but maybe they just didn't take it as seriously as I do. And they're like, yeah, okay, it was whatever. But I love this sport down to my bones. It was never just a passing thing I did. For me, it is who I am and what I am. You know, is anybody who's watching this know somebody or who's had this problem? And I know you might think I'm just being silly, but this causes me a great deal of anxiety and stress. I honestly don't know what to do. This is not something you can just Google. I can't afford a therapist. And I would have to have a therapist who has dealt with this before. But I would certainly appreciate anybody who had some words of wisdom regarding this. It makes me feel very vulnerable, and I don't like feeling vulnerable. I know it is okay to be vulnerable. But men are not allowed to be emotional or vulnerable. We have to always be big and strong. At least that's the way I was raised. I've got all these things running around in my head, and I don't know how to deal with it. And maybe I just need to start writing it all down into chunks and formulate a plan. Because sometimes when I write stuff down, it helps. Like I write a journal every day, and I've been a little bit lax of that because of my crazy schedule. But I feel guilty every time I don't do a journal entry. But I talk, about what's going on with me, and sometimes when I write that down, if there's something funky going on or thoughts I can't get out of my head, once I write it down, I can get it out of my head. So I am 11 days out from the Max Fit Pro, and part of me is thinking I have 11 days until I am free. I am free from the bondage of prep. I used to love prep because I could excel at it. But now I kind of feel like, if any of you have seen the Shawshank Redemption, I think there was a guy named Brooks. He was an older guy. He'd been in prison almost all his life. So he's finally released, and he doesn't know what the hell to do with himself. He's been under control of the prison guards his whole life, and he ends up hanging himself. I'm not saying I'm going to go hang myself. I've got lots of stuff I need to do, and I'm really looking forward. I really want this judging thing to come through so I can stay in the sport. Good God Almighty, I can identify. So, if anybody can offer some words of advice, I am all ears. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate all the comments and nice things that people have been saying to me, and I've had some really good questions. And I know I've told you this a bunch of times, but I really do really sincerely appreciate all of your support. So I don't even know what direction I'm going to take this channel anymore. You know, I'm still going. I guess I'm going to keep it focused on masters level, you know, competition and you know, physique kind of stuff, and you know, biomechanics. But most of my material actually comes from prep season, because I know you guys like to see what you can still accomplish when you're older, and you can still accomplish a lot. So many questions, and I don't know how I'm going to answer them yet. But thanks again for your support. Please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And I certainly would appreciate your comments. This is Yaakov Baram. See you again.